We are in Prattville, Alabama, founded by Daniel Pratt. They have finished redoing the windows in the world's largest cotton gin manufacturing corporation in Prattville, Alabama. The water you see rushing was the power supply. Daniel Pratt, his family owned the furnaces. The Pratt house is at the Briarfield Iron Works. They did iron, they did the railroad, and they did the cotton gins. He had a huge party in there, and nobody could figure out how he got all the china to have this big grand party. Well, it came from China. But he also ran the Underground Railroad. You see, he ran the railroad, you guys. So he tried to help people. He was a very good man, a very industrial man. Like, they industrialized the South. That's the reason for the Civil War. They got mad because they were making money. And so it really was kin killing kin, because whenever he started the Underground Railroad and was sending slaves that were being mistreated and they had a reason to try to get out of here, he would send them to New York to one of his relatives. His name, I can't remember. I did the research on it, okay? But he had the slogan. He was the first one where the racist word come from, because he had made the statement, "Kill the Indian, save the man." Okay? When the slaves got off the trains, because they were really just in boxcars. There were underground tunnels, but the majority were on actual trains. When they arrived in New York, they put them in mass graves. When Daniel Pratt found out what his relative had done, he donated half of the railroad and half of this cotton gin manufacturing corporation to a black man named Charles Atwood. You ever wonder where Atwood comes from? Well, now you know the rest of the story on it. I'm going to go up to the cemetery. I'm very, very pleased to see that they did the renovations on the windows. It looks really, really good. This is a huge part of history, you guys. You can see this older building here. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm sure they're going to end up doing something with it. This is a beautiful town. It is so beautiful. And the history here is just amazing, you guys. It says, "Let love reign in Prattville" over there. You see that? They got the little umbrellas. There's so much history here. And I am so pleased to see the renovations. We came during Christmas. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. And the windows weren't done during that time, and it was dark, and I couldn't see a lot. So I'm about to go up to the cemetery where the Pratt family cemetery is, and George Cook is up there. He was a painter that Daniel Pratt funded and sent all over the world. The world's largest oil painting that is hanging in the Georgia University was done by George Cook. He was from New Orleans. A lot of the cotton gin production was through New Orleans. It was a way to work smarter, not harder. And when the money started flowing, people got mad about it. We were sharecropping. There was white people picking cotton. The white slaves burned in the sun, so blacks were more profitable. They were slaves, where they came from. And honestly, they were given a better life here in America. You had to take good care of a slave. And they multiplied, so you had more mouths to feed instead of the initial worker that you obtained. It wasn't all black and white, and it definitely wasn't Purple and Roots, okay? Roots are fictional movies to incite division and hatred. There was love in the South. Most of the slaves had the family name. They were educated. They were taught to read. They were taught to do crafts that could make them things. I mean, you know, they did teach them to make bricks. If you teach a man to make a brick, he can build his own house, can he not? I just want the real history documented. I don't like the division and hatred, because the Confederacy defended their homes. They weren't rich people. Like 80% of them didn't even own a slave. General Lee gave up his slaves that he inherited from Washington. They wouldn't let Miss Davis pay the taxes on their property during the war. There was a lot of division, but it was over money. It wasn't over slavery. Truth be known, they didn't want blacks in the North because they didn't want them to take their factory jobs. We had the produce, we had the land, we made the product down here, grew it, sent it up there for them to make in factories because it's cold up there. Things don't grow. They got greedy. They wanted money from us growing our product. And now they're trying to take our land again. If you guys don't see the next beginning of another war against civilians, that's what COVID was. I mean, it's all kind of coming in waves for you. Can you grasp what I'm trying to lay down for you right now? Justice will flow, just like over those rocks right there. Isn't it beautiful? That's power generation right there. That is power. If you don't know what that is, this was genius in a time when people didn't know how to do these things. The ancestral knowledge that has been passed on for iron and manufacturing and generating energy and doing huge things like this that was unheard of during those times. Unheard of. Should spark a little recognition and enlightenment in your mind's eye. That third eye. See those 3 tunnels?